ready to ditch the cubicle. Today, we're diving into a career that's anything but ordinary.
We're talking about the life of a tool pusher. And let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart.
Definitely more exciting than pushing paper, that's for sure.
You've shared some really interesting articles about this career path, and we're going to break down what it takes to succeed in this high-pressure, high-reward world.
We're talking about life on an offshore oil rig miles from land. Our sources for this deep dive are the Career Guide, Tool Pusher, and a couple of pieces from RoleCatcher about the job search process and interview skills.
Great resources. It's amazing how they all highlight the demanding nature of the job, but also the incredible opportunities for growth.
So picture this, you're on a rig, the sun's beating down, waves crashing against the steel, and you're the one responsible for making sure this massive drilling operation runs smoothly.
It's a huge responsibility. The Career Guide really emphasizes that a tool pusher is the linchpin between management, the crew, and all the equipment.
It's a lot more than just pushing tools, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You're responsible for safety, efficiency, and hitting those drilling targets. You've got to be a leader, a problem solver, and a master of logistics.
It's like being the conductor of an orchestra, except your instruments are massive pieces of machinery, and the stakes are incredibly high.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
One thing that surprised me from the Career Guide was that 63% of the role relies on mechanical knowledge. It's a significant chunk.
It makes sense when you think about the complexity of the equipment involved. You need to know how it all works inside and out.
Exactly. You've got to be able to troubleshoot problems on the fly, keep those systems running at peak performance, and maybe even train less experienced crew members.
So not just a strong back, but a sharp mind, too. It's interesting because when I think of a tool pusher, I think of the physical demands, but the Career Guide really emphasizes leadership and organizational skills.
Right. And it's not just managing machinery. You're managing people in a very intense, demanding environment.
Long hours, often dangerous conditions. You need those leadership qualities to keep a crew motivated, safe, and working together effectively.
Absolutely. And that's where starting as a floor hand or roughneck comes in.
Yeah.
The Career Guide talks about those entry-level roles as being the ultimate training ground.
It's where you learn the ropes, literally.
Exactly. You're getting your hands dirty,
Yeah.
learning from more experienced crew members, and proving you can handle the challenges of rig life.
So it's building a foundation of practical experience, understanding the equipment, the processes, and of course, the safety protocols.
It's not just about finding a job. It's about building relationships and tapping into a network of people who've been there and done that.
Mentorship, that's what it sounds like. It's about those connections and having people you can rely on, especially in such a high-pressure field.
Exactly. So you start as a floor hand, move up to maybe a derrick hand, then assistant tool pusher, and finally the big leagues, tool pusher.
A clear career path. That's something the Career Guide outlines really well. Okay, so we've talked about the starting point, but where do you go from there? So you've put in the hard work, learned the ropes, and earned your stripes as a floor hand or roughneck. What's the next rung on this career ladder?
Well, once you've proven yourself, you might move up to assistant tool pusher, where the responsibilities really start to ramp up.
It's like being second in command, right?
You got it. Supervising crews, troubleshooting equipment issues, making sure everything runs smoothly. It's a crucial step because you're getting that hands-on leadership experience while still honing those technical skills.
Learning how to lead from the front lines.
Exactly. And the Career Guide even outlines potential salary ranges for each step. And let me tell you, the earning potential in this field is nothing to sneeze at.
I bet. Especially given the demands of the job. But it's not just about the money, is it? The Career Guide also mentioned moving into more specialized roles later in your career.
Absolutely. Once you've got some solid years under your belt, you might decide to focus on a particular area, like well control, which is all about, well, controlling the pressure in a well to prevent blowouts.
Okay, now that sounds intense. I have to admit, I don't fully grasp what all that entails.
It's crucial, especially in offshore drilling. You're drilling deeper and deeper, and that pressure just keeps building. If it's not managed carefully, you risk a blowout, which can be incredibly dangerous and costly.
So, well control specialists, they're the ones who keep everything from, well, blowing up.
Essentially. They monitor the pressure, make sure safety procedures are followed to a T, and know exactly what to do if something goes wrong. It's a high-stakes role that requires specialized training and a cool head under pressure.
Sounds like the kind of job where experience is everything.
It definitely plays a huge role, but the Career Guide also stressed the importance of never stopping learning.
That makes sense. The oil and gas industry is constantly changing.
Exactly. New technologies are always popping up, so whether it's staying on top of the latest well control techniques or getting familiar with new drilling equipment, a tool pusher has to be adaptable and always hungry for knowledge.
Speaking of new technologies, it was really interesting to see the career guide mention the industry's move towards sustainability and reducing carbon emissions.
It's a hot topic right now, that's for sure.
The sources mention companies adopting more sustainable practices, investing in technologies to lessen their environmental impact.
Which is a good thing, right?
Absolutely. It's something we're all becoming more aware of, our impact on the planet. But how does this shift towards sustainability impact someone considering a career as a tool pusher? What does it mean for them?
That's the million-dollar question. It's still a bit of an unknown, but I think it's safe to say that tool pushers of the future will need to be adaptable and open to new ways of doing things.
So it's not just about knowing how to operate traditional drilling equipment, but also being familiar with those new technologies we see emerging in renewable energy and other fields.
Exactly. Think about offshore wind farms, for instance,
Mm.
or geothermal energy. Those fields are really taking off, and they need skilled workers who can handle those tough conditions.
And who know how to operate complex equipment in challenging environments, which sounds a lot like what a tool pusher already does.
Right, that's what's so cool about it. The career guide actually had a whole section on transferable skills, giving clear instructions, managing industrial equipment, keeping an eye on costs. Those are useful in all sorts of industries, not just oil and gas.
That's reassuring, actually. Even if the oil and gas industry undergoes a major transformation, those core skills won't become obsolete.
Nope. Adaptability and a willingness to learn, those are key in any field, but especially in a sector that's evolving as rapidly as energy.
So it's about investing in skills that will stand the test of time. Okay, we've covered the day-to-day, the career path, even what the future holds for this industry. But we haven't talked about the elephant in the room, and that's the inherent risk that comes with this job.
Right. It wouldn't be fair to sugarcoat it. Being a tool pusher means working in hazardous environments. Although the career guide was very clear that safety is the top priority in this field.
And that's where those certifications we mentioned earlier come in. Well control, HSE, OSHA. They're not just about looking good on a resume, are they?
Not at all. They're about ensuring everyone on that rig goes home safe. Those certifications give tool pushers the knowledge to spot hazards, follow protocols, and handle emergencies effectively.
So it's about being proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly. It's about fostering a culture of safety where everyone feels comfortable speaking up if something seems off.
And that goes back to those leadership skills we discussed earlier. A good tool pusher isn't just focused on getting the job done, but on the well-being of their crew.
It's about leadership, mentorship, being an advocate for safety. It's a lot to juggle.
It is. But I can see how rewarding it would be, knowing you're contributing to such a vital industry while also keeping people safe.
Yeah, the source material definitely highlighted that sense of purpose, that responsibility that comes with the job.
So for someone who thrives under pressure, who loves a good challenge, and wants to have a real impact, a career as a tool pusher could be a great fit.
I'd have to agree. And with the right training, a good attitude, and maybe a little help from technology.
Oh, right. The RoleCatcher articles. Almost forgot about those. I have to say, this idea of being discovered by potential employers is really appealing, instead of just sending your resume into the abyss and hoping for the best.
Right. It's like a digital handshake, putting your best foot forward and hoping to connect with the right company.
A dating app, but for your career. And RoleCatcher has those AI tools that can help you tailor your profile so you're targeting the best opportunities for you.
It's all about making those connections and standing out from the crowd.
I like that it feels like a level playing field. No matter what your background is, everyone has access to these resources and tools.
I was impressed by RoleCatcher's commitment to accessibility. They have those free resources as well as paid options, so there's something for every budget.
It's like having a career coach in your back pocket. Wow, we've covered so much ground today. Responsibilities, skills, career paths, technology's role, even where the industry is headed in the future.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Always love a good thought-provoking question. Hit me.
Remember how we talked about the oil and gas industry shifting toward more sustainable practices? It really got me thinking, how might a tool pusher's job change alongside these shifts?
It's interesting because the sources mention these new technologies, but they don't really dive into how that will impact a tool pusher's day-to-day work.
Exactly. So here's something to ponder as you continue exploring this career path. As the industry moves towards renewable energy, carbon capture, and the like, What new skills or specializations will be needed for tool pushers to really thrive in that changing environment? It's a question worth exploring.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that those who are willing to embrace those changes, to learn and adapt, those are the people who will shape the future of this industry.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that very question. This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of tool pushers. We hope you found it insightful. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.